If the world's knowledge were to end tomorrow and Feynman got to leave one statement to pass on to the next generation, he believes he would share the atomic hypothesis. All things are made of atoms, little particles that move around in perpetual motion, that attract each other when they are little distance apart, but repel upon being squeezed into each other. Feynman explains the postulates of atomic theory, atomic processes, and chemical reactions all with this one statement. If you zoom in to a glass of water with a microscope roughly with a billion times magnification, in the idealized view you would see blobs or circles. A big circle, oxygen, accompanied by two smaller circles, hydrogen. They move around randomly in groups that are stuck together. Each group attracts one another to flock together but repel enough that they don't squeeze through. This is the flow of water. Each molecule is wiggling on its own, but it is largely held together by the attraction of other molecules. This wiggling is heat. When we increase temperature, we increase this motion. Eventually, the pull of other molecules can't stop it from shooting away. Now these molecules are free to roam. This is what we call steam. Most properties of steam are usually understood with little imagination. Imagine these molecules to be tennis balls that we are trying to contain within a vessel with a piston on top. Since these tennis balls are always moving, they are going to hit the piston from time to time, pushing it backwards. You have to hold the piston down to stop the escape. This force we call the pressure. What happens if we reduce the volume of the container but maintain the same speed? More tennis balls hit the piston more often. This increases the pressure. So, volume and pressure are inversely proportional, meaning one quantity decreases while the other increases. What if we double the number of tennis balls? The pressure again doubles. Let's look at another situation. What if we slowly move the piston downwards and compress the steam? The tennis balls are going to increase their speeds upon contact. But why? Well, if we imagined a stationary tennis ball, it would start moving when hit by a moving piston. Just like that, an already moving tennis ball will increase its speed further, which means it's now hotter, and this implies that slow compression increases temperature, making volume and temperature inversely proportional. So far, we have seen that pressure is proportional to the number of molecules and inversely proportional to the volume. Now we have also seen that volume is inversely proportional to temperature, and putting all this together, we have stumbled upon the ideal gas equation. But let's shift to something different. Can this statement explain more than just the ideal gas equation? So far, the different tennis balls have maintained their partners, but sometimes they choose new partners, and this is called a chemical reaction. Imagine a sea of carbon atoms happily bonded to each other. This could be graphite or diamond. When they are exposed to air, an oxygen atom can pick up a carbon atom and make carbon monoxide. The attraction between carbon and oxygen is much more than the attraction between carbon and carbon. This harsh attraction generates high amounts of kinetic energy, which after the bond is formed is distributed amongst the neighbors. This increases their jiggling, which is heat. This production of heat is called burning, and in some circumstances it is so great that it even generates light. These are flames. The atomic hypothesis has worked so far in explaining these phenomena, but is there any way to see its direct effects? Turns out we can, and finding it gave Einstein a Nobel Prize. Einstein saw that microscopic impurities in water exhibited random zigzag motion, almost as if they were being pushed around in a crowded hall. Even if we can't see them directly, we are seeing the work of the atoms which are in constant motion. They push around objects that are large enough to be seen. We can therefore see that even macroscopic phenomenon can be understood as the action of atoms. All of this can be encapsulated by the words of Feynman that are too beautiful to not be quoted. There is nothing that living things do that cannot be understood from the point of view that they are atoms acting according to the laws of physics.